Hello friends, welcome back in VMware Cloud Foundation Deep Dive Webinar Series Part 10, where today we are going to discuss about VCF certificate management, where we'll see how to manage, install and replace the certificate in VMware Cloud Foundation. So before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel with your friends. And for any query, you can feel free to write us back on nextgencf@gmail.com. So let's get started. All right, today we are on part 10 that we have already discussed. The key topics for part 10, we are going to cover the certificate overview in VMware Cloud Foundation environment, describe the PKI, what are the PKI and the brief overview of it, then explain the purpose of certificate sign request, what is the CSR, why we use it like primarily where we look up for the new certificates to be replaced for the VCF component. Then the certificate management in VCF environment, list of available CA option in SDDC Manager, what all kind of CA we can integrate with the SDDC Manager environment, and describe how we'll see and view the certificates in SDDC Manager console, describe how to configure the Microsoft CA server and Microsoft Certificate Authority within SDDC Manager, describe how to add OpenSSL as an CA in SDDC Manager. Then in last, we'll be seeing a little bit of hands-on part, how to replace and install the certificates for the VMware Cloud Foundation components. All right, so let's understand what is the digital certificate in VCF and why do we need to use them. The primary function of digital certificates in VMware Cloud Foundation to provide the secure communication between VCF components, like where we talk about SDDC Manager, vCenter Server, NSX and ESXi host, and also they provide a secure access and browsing to the end user, where the end user is accessing the VMware Cloud Foundation environment. All right, when we see the brief of PKI, so PKI itself a big concept, but just for a brief overview and introduction part here, the key components for the PKIs are certificate authority. There should be a certificate authority, which is primarily managing the certificates to provide the certificates to the VCF components. Then the actual digital certificate that's going to be assigned by the certificate authority to the VCF component. Then certificate sign-in request. Certificate sign request primarily created by your VCF component. It could be your SDDC manager, it could be your NSX, it could be your vSphere, vCenter server, or maybe your ESXi host as well. Then public key and private keys, these are the primary part of your certificate itself, that primarily private key secure your contents and public key secure the private key. Then the root certificate primarily the certificate for your certificate authority. Moving forward, overview of certificate sign request that we refer as CSR also. So CSR primarily created or primarily initiated by the requester, the end user, the end machine, the end component which is looking for the SSL certificate. So CSR generates on the server where the certificate will be installed, and generating CSR also generate the public and private key pair to the certificate authority. And a CSR contains the public key but not the private key, because the private key must remain secret always. The certificate issued by the CA contains the public key of the server. Server means for the component the certificate will be created. Okay, moving forward, when typically we generate a CSR from any of the component, it is SDDC Manager, it could be NSX. Probably most of you have already seen when we generate the CSR, there is multiple components we have to fill. The common name is FQDN of your server. Let's for an example, you are creating a certificate request for your SDDC Manager, then there should be CN for the SDDC Manager, then the organization, then organization unit, city, state, country. So this is a kind of form that you have to fill for creating a CSR. Okay, so please bear with me. My pen is not working properly. So yes, so these are the main things we have to consider while we are generating the CSR. All right. So when we see certificate management by SDDC Manager, what does it mean? It means is that in VCF environment, which all certificate primarily managed by your SDDC Manager itself. So the certificate management, installation and all that would take care by vCenter server, your NSX manager, your SDDC manager, and vRealize Shoot Lifecycle Manager, not for the entire vRealize component. When we say VRLCM primary components which is taking care of install, build, upgrade, certificate management for all your realized shoot component kind of VRA, VROPS, VRLI and all. But yeah, that's all not been taken care by SDDC Manager. SDDC Manager will take care of the realized shoot lifecycle manager certificate. Okay. But yes, the main and important thing here is probably you will have a question in your mind how the ESXi certificate will be managed. The ESXi certificates will not manage by your SDDC manager. The ESXi need to generate a request from ESXi CLI console or SSH console from the local console. Then they have to get the certificate from the CA, from the external CA and whatever CA you are using in your environment. It could be your Microsoft, or it could be your third party CA as well. So you have to make and generate separate certificate. And also we have to keep in mind any of the component certificate should not be expired at all. If in case certificate will get expired, you will get a lot of challenges while you are accessing or browsing that particular component. When we say the certificate integration part, like which all CAs, which all certificate authorities we can integrate with the SDDC manager. So with the VCF or SDDC manager, we could say we can integrate the external Microsoft certificate authority, integrate its own internal SSL CA. We refer as the OpenSSL. That's the inbuilt CA in your SDDC manager. Also, we can't say the integration. Yes, we can ask the certificate from the third party CA, where the getting the certificate from integrated Microsoft CA or OpenSSL is a fully automated process. Once we have to just integrate the CA with your SDDC manager, then entire process for generating the CSR, installing the certificates, all processes is automated. But when we say we are getting certificate from the external CA, it's a partially automated process that we will be discussing in upcoming slides. How it is partially automated? It means that we have to generate the certificate request, then get the certificate, then download and install and replace the certificate in SDDC manager. Some of these steps are automated, some of these steps are manual. That's why we are referring as wherever we are considering the external CA, it's always an kind of partially automated process. Moving forward about VMCA, that we refer as VMware Certificate Authority. So provide the signed certificate to your vSphere ESXi host and solution of like NSX. But when we say in the VCF environment itself, when we are using we can use for ESXi the default CA, that is my VMCA certificate being provided that. But yes, the environment the customer wants to keep the production environment safe and secure. They always to have an external CA. When we say external CA, it could be your Active Directory CA as well, or it could be any third party CA. Can be configured as subordinate CA. When we say VMCA, a VMCA got the certificate from the external CA being as an root CA, then your VMCA can work as an subordinate CA in between. So the VMCA, there is no any integration between VMCA and the VMware Cloud Foundation certificate management at all, right? Yes, moving forward, then how to view the certificates? Viewing the certificate for the VCF components pretty straightforward and simple way. If you guys are already working in the SDDC Manager VCF environment, you just need to log in into the Cloud Foundation SDDC Manager, go to workload domain and just click the certificate tabs. Once you click the certificate tabs, it is going to show you the entire details of the certificate, like when it's about to expire and it's going to expire, all the certificate which are active. So for the best practice, we should keep the certificate as same for each and every component, so that we can easily take the action. So any certificate is about to expire, it will automatically creating an alarm for you within SDDC Manager console. All right. So when you say configure the Microsoft CA, when say Microsoft CA, it's your Microsoft server that you are populating or you are going to initiate as a certificate authority. What you have to do is, for that you have to be an expert on Microsoft, and you should be pretty much well versed aware how Microsoft Active Directory and certificate authority works together to generate and create the certificates for any kind of environment. For that we need to require some certain roles, kind of CA roles in my Microsoft Windows server, then integrate the SDDC Manager service account in your Active Directory, create the certificates, and give some certain roles and create some certificate templates for your VCF environment. So again, I'm repeating, for that you must be an expert on the how to work on the Microsoft CA environment, and you have to follow the certain steps to creating the certificate authority. Now coming back, how we can integrate the Microsoft Certificate Authority in your SDDC Manager, being an vSphere administrator, being an SDDC Manager, or being an VCF administrator. It's your responsibility to integrate the Microsoft CA. Certain details you want from the CA providers, like the URL, you have to fill that, and from this tab, certificate authority type, you have to select the kind of CA you are using it. Here you will populate it two tabs, Microsoft and OpenSSL. OpenSSL is again is a inbuilt CA between in your SDDC Manager. Microsoft is the external CA you have to integrate. Then username and password and the certificate templates. From this template, all the certificates will be generated. This certificate template detail, URL detail, username, password, these all details will be shared by the Microsoft Certificate Authority admin to you. Then when you want to create the OpenSSL CA on your SDDC Manager, so again you have to select OpenSSL, and here you could see this is the FQDN of my SDDC Manager itself, and the OU, then org name, locality, state, country. That's all detail you have to fill as per your environment requirement, how the SDDC environment is being configured. And just click save action. In that way you can save the certificate providers detail. So once certificate providers details being updated in your SDDC Manager, now the time is installing and installing the certificate, or maybe expiring the existing certificate. Okay, so two things when you are installing the certificates. For an example, if you just have an greenfield deployment, when we say greenfield deployment, it is just a new deployment on VCF and you are doing it first time. You have to integrate your CA, either Microsoft CA or OpenSSL CA. Then you have to install the certificate very first time. Or if in case certificate is going to expire, then you have to replace the expired certificate. So if my CA is already integrated, when I say my CA is already integrated, it could be Microsoft CA, CA, or it could be your OpenSSL certificate, OpenSSL CA that we just described in the previous slide. Then what you need to do is a fully automated process, generate a signed certificate, then install certificate, and that's it. Your certificate will be renewed for the component you have selected, like SDDC Manager, vCenter Server, or NSX, right? But not ESXi. Again, I'm repeating my word. ESXi certificate will not be upgraded from the VCF CA. That you have to do, and you have to follow the separate process for that. Then manual using the external CA. If you are using external CA that is not populated within your SDDC environment, what you have to do first, you have to create a CSR request, download that request locally in your system somewhere, then share that CSR request to the certificate authority. Then certificate authority will provide the certificate. You have to download locally somewhere in your system, then start upload and install the certificate. Okay, so it in case you are using the external CA. Okay, for using the external CA from the VCF, you have to first generate the CSR request, download locally somewhere in your system, share that CSR request to the external CA. External CA will create a certificate for you. You have to bring up back locally in your system. Then you have to install and uh, upload and install that certificate through the external CA. So these are the way from SDDC Manager. You have the different choices for upgrading the certificate. So this is all about this module. So what we have covered, just a quick recap, like digital certificate overview of PKI infrastructure, then CSR, what types of CA we can integrate, what are the way of viewing the certificates once you will integrate it with your CA, the way of integration of CA. Again, I'm repeating my word, Microsoft CA and OpenSSL, that is something that you can integrate, but also you have the choice of using the external CA as well. Then describe how to replace and install the certificates in VMware Cloud Foundation. So for that purpose, let me jump in the lab environment where I open the VMware HL. As I already described, I am very fond of to doing the VMware HL labs. So let's get jump in and see how we can install and replace the certificate in the VCF environment. So for the sake of time, I have already logged in into SDDC Manager environment. So how you will go in the certificate setting, and into SDDC Manager, you could see SDDC Manager console, go to workload domains, and select your respective workload domain. Like for an example, here is the management workload. You will just click on management workload domain. Then you will find easily the certificates tab. Once you will click on certificates tab, you will see the listed component for which of the components we can upgrade the certificate or we can install. So here in the below list, you can see the component for SDDC Manager, NSX, and your vCenter server as well. Most probably you could see multiple NSX instance, maybe sometime you could see multiple vCenter instance. Okay, so it all matters like what kind of workload domain you have, selected. Kind of you can go, there could be another workload domain, in that workload domain you could find simply vCenter server and NSX itself. So for the automation, for the automated process, let's for an example, in this environment, we want to upgrade the certificate for SDDC Manager. You just click the SDDC Manager tab, and then you can generate the CSR. Once you will click on generate the CSR, it will ask you the detail for the external CA. Then you have to fill the external CA details here. Like for an example, algorithm, key size, email address, OU, unit name, then locality. Okay, that all details you have to fill, to generate the new certificates request. Once you will generate the certificate request, then what is the next step? You have to just download that CSR and just to share that CSR to the external CA, external certificate authority provider. Then once he will generate the certificate, then upload and install the certificate locally for the particular component. But if in case we have kind of an integrated CA already, so how we are going to integrate the CA? For that tab, go to security, then click on certificate authority tab. Under the certificate authority tab, you will find the list of certificate authorities. Once you will click on edit section, under the edit section, you could see here is the Microsoft and the OpenSSL. Okay, so if we'll select the Microsoft, we have given the details for the kind of the CA details here for MS. So let me just save the value. If the password is right, it should save the external certificate authority. Oh, password is not matching. Allow me some time. Let me just check the password and come back to you. So CA is being already integrated here. And if in case you want to change by some username, password, the credentials one. So this is the way you can select the Microsoft CA, give the URL, username, then password, then the template you are referring for deploying from certificate perspective. Then what you have to do is again go back to your workload domains. Inside the workload domains, again, you will find the list of management domain, management workload domain. Click on management workload domain, go to certificate, and for any of the component, if you will find the certificate is being about to expire, you will be getting the warning. According to that, you can select the component and you can replace or install the new certificate. For an example, you say that recently certificate has been installation in successfully completed. So for the component, you will see expire in 10 days, 15 days. After 15, like when 15 days remaining, it will show you starting the warning. You can just select the component. Once you will select the component, again, if in external CA, you have to generate the CSRs, you have to fill the entire form. But if certificate is about to expire, automatically these options will get popped up. You will just click generate signed certificate. First, you will click generate signed certificate. Once generate signed certificate request is completed, then the install certificates tab will be highlighted automatically. Again, I'm repeating my word. If you are using the integrated CA, what you have to do is you have to just follow up two steps here. The step one is generate signed certificates. Why it is not highlighted here? Because my certificate is already active. But if it also is about to expire in 5 days, 10 days or 15 days, then you will just click generate signed certificate and install certificate. But if in case we don't have the integrated CA, what you have to do is first you have to generate the CSRs certificate request, then download the CSR from here, then give the CSR request to the external CA. External CA will provision the certificate for your components. Then you will just click upload and install the certificate. Once you'll click upload and install the certificate, it'll ask you again the resource, the text, the root CA certificate and the certificate for your components you are going to import in it. Okay, so this is the way how you are going to replacing or upgrading the certificate for the VCF component. And again, I'm repeating, for ESXi certificates, you cannot replace anywhere, not from here. That could be done through the ESXi local console itself. Yeah, so that's it for this webinar. And again, thanks all for joining this webinar. And if in case you have any question or any doubt, you can feel free to write us back where we have given the existing email ID. And thank you again. And please don't forget to like and put your comments against the video, share with your friends. And in last, don't forget to press the bell icon for the new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.